First of all, by the way, you guys laugh like way more than anyone else. Definitely way more than when old people watch this movie. So that maybe goes back a little bit to what I said beforehand, before the film started. A lot of times I kind of just like look out in the world and try to look at like whose voices are underrepresented, whose stories are not really being told very thoroughly, or maybe whose stories are being told with like a lot of bias from like one way or the other that make their stories kind of like suppressed in the media. So it's like when you look at the newspaper, what kind of stories do you see about what kind of people? Anyone just shout it out. What's that? Okay, do you see stories about young people a lot? No. No. Okay, so when you see stories about young people, what are they normally about? That was a lot of answers. I heard bad things in the front row. That's what I heard, bad things. Usually not such great things, right? What demographic are people in the news usually? What's that?
Latin people and African Americans.
Latin American and African American. Okay, so we can see just you know, newspapers and news, they don't cover like everyone from all ages and ranges and colors and skins and ethnicities like equally. So the stories I've taken on usually kind of focus on people who are disenfranchised and whose voices aren't really in the newspaper. Or maybe I see a lot of stories about youth as being like bad and violent and like youth killed, gang violence, really kind of negative things, and not many like amazing youth put together a project that like brings the community together and starts dialogue. You don't see that very often, right? You're laughing. So I started a youth program in the mission for undocumented youth. There weren't any youth from ICA, but there was some from Mission High, kind of all around. So we gave them cameras, and they were able to basically make little autobiographical films about their lives. And then I did a story on the border with like a family of 15, a mom of 14 kids, who most of them were undocumented. The youngest 3 or 4 were born in the US. And the mom and the 19-year-old daughter, like a year after I started photographing them, they got caught by the Border Patrol. So I kind of followed them through that whole process. So that's kind of the take that I usually start off with the stories that I tell. So let's get some questions in there. Yeah.
Why did you choose to pick a Latino family instead of something more that's not really in the news? Because when you think of immigration, people always assume Latinos and like never like, well, I don't know, other ethnic groups.
Yeah, that's a really good question. The question was, why did I choose a Latino family to focus on in terms of an immigration story? No one's actually ever asked me that question before, but it is really important. And the answer is just kind of by chance. I mean, this is a thesis film for graduate school, so I have this finite amount of time I had to make it. And from the program that I started, I had connections to the immigrant community, mainly Latinos, like La Raza, Centro Legal, and Poder, and these other groups in the mission are mostly Latinos. So when I put an email out saying, hey, does anyone know anyone who's fighting a deportation case? Most of those people were probably Latinos, so most of the people they knew were, and they hooked me up with the Mejia family. But with that said, I think about 60%, supposedly, about 60% of the undocumented population in the United States is from Latino heritage, meaning 4 out of 10 people are not, which is something most people don't realize, that there are people in the US without papers from all over the world, from Asia, from Eastern Europe, from Western Europe, from Ireland. There's a huge Irish undocumented population in San Francisco. White people are here with white skin who are undocumented in the same exact situation as Syrians. So a lot of adults and a lot of people just in general don't realize that. So it was kind of my community that I already work with and know and I'm close to, so maybe that's why.
First of all, thank you. That was fantastic. I just had a question about the college situation for Gilbert because of that, what I know about the DREAM Act, and that if you are undocumented, it's harder to go on to college. I just wondered about his situation. Where is he studying?
Yeah, so he's at Santa Rosa Junior College right now, but do you guys know about AB 540? Okay, you should if you don't know about it, but I think if you go to high school for 3 years in California, regardless of your citizenship status, you qualify for in-state tuition at like City College and state and any UC Berkeley, any statewide or city school, meaning you don't have to pay like international student tuition, because a lot of times undocumented people have to apply as an international student even if you lived there your whole life since you're like 1 year old, and then that's like 3 times as much or more tuition than like the in-state level. So he's finishing up an architecture degree at Santa Rosa Junior College and wants to transfer to a 4-year school, maybe Berkeley or maybe a different one. And then Helen's in 10th grade now. Just went through a quinceañera a little bit ago.
Was there any further, has there been any more progress on this case?
Yeah, I was going to say something. Yeah, so basically, there has been a bunch of change since the film was finished. Basically, you saw that the lawyer was like appealing the deportation case, trying to bring the parents back at the end of the film. And actually, I finished the movie about 2 days before the immigration panel in Washington, D.C. was going to decide. And the lawyer sent the film to them, and they saw the film, and then 2 days later, they decided to let the parents come back to join the family. So there's the cash. So they give the parents a 6-month visa to be here for 6 months. It's a little bit ridiculous. But basically the lawyer has to apply, well the 6 months just ran out, so they applied for a year extension after that 6 months. So like from now until a year from now. And they got that extension. So basically they're going to keep on having to apply for extension after extension, and their future is really still up in the air as as it has been their whole lives. But they're together, which is the most important part. They almost lost their house, but